A rookie cop spends one day riding with a legendary narcotics detective and discovers his hero is the most dangerous criminal on the streets. Training Day 2001 is one of the great crime thrillers of the century. Denzel Washington plays the charming, corrupt detective Alonzo Harris. Ethan Hawke plays the wide-eyed rookie Jake Hoyt. Director Antoine Fuqua shot it in the most dangerous neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Alonzo cruises the city in his black Monte Carlo, testing Jake at every turn. Behind this gritty classic lies a cast of real gangsters, a role Denzel almost refused, and an ending that was almost completely different, one you were never meant to see. Stay to the very end to find out. 20 facts, counting down. Fact 20. Denzel Washington won an Oscar for playing pure evil. For most of his career, Denzel had played noble heroes. Here, he did the exact opposite, playing a monstrous, corrupt cop. That fearless turn won him the Academy Award for Best Actor. On screen, his villain is terrifyingly magnetic. Alonzo charms and manipulates everyone he meets with a dazzling smile. Alonzo hides pure menace behind easy, likable swagger. Hollywood's ultimate good guy won gold for becoming its scariest villain. Fact 19. Denzel's most famous line was made up on the spot. The film's most quoted moment comes near its climax. Denzel screams a wild boast about King Kong, arms flung wide. That legendary line was never in the script. He improvised it in the moment. On screen, it's an explosion of raw ego. Alonzo turns in a slow circle, daring the whole neighborhood to face him. Alonzo roars his defiance as his empire crumbles around him. One unscripted line became one of cinema's most unforgettable moments. Fact 18. Denzel also invented his creepiest gesture. Denzel didn't stop at improvising lines. In one chilling moment, he scraped his two pistols together like sharpening knives. That menacing bit of business wasn't scripted either. On screen, it makes your skin crawl. Alonzo toys with his guns as a silent, deadly threat. Alonzo's eerie calm is scarier than any shouting. Small, improvised touches made Alonzo one of film's great villains. Fact 17. Denzel almost didn't take the role at all. Playing a villain this dark gave even Denzel pause. He hesitated before committing to such a monstrous character. In the end, he called it one of the most important roles of his career. On screen, his total commitment is obvious. Alonzo dominates every scene with terrifying confidence. Alonzo makes evil look effortlessly, dangerously cool. A role the star nearly turned down became his crowning achievement. Fact 16. The film cast real gang members as extras. Fuqua wanted the streets to feel utterly authentic, so he filled the background with actual Los Angeles gang members. Real Bloods and Crips appear throughout the neighborhood scenes. On screen, that authenticity is unmistakable. Alonzo moves through blocks that feel genuinely lived in and dangerous. Jake stares wide-eyed at a world he has never seen before. Real gang members gave the film its raw, frightening realism. Fact 15. It was the first movie ever shot on that gang turf. One notorious housing project had always been off limits to film crews. It was considered far too dangerous for any production. But the community wanted an honest story told, so they welcomed the shoot. On screen, that access is priceless. Alonzo and Jake drive through real, unfiltered Los Angeles streets. The neighborhood itself becomes a character in the film. A place no camera had entered opened its doors for this movie. Fact 14. The man who pulls a gun on Denzel was a real gangster. In the film's climax, a neighborhood figure turns on Alonzo. That role was played by Clee Sloan, a former Bloods member. Sloan actually served as the film's real gang technical advisor. On screen, his cold stare is chillingly real. Alonzo suddenly finds a gun pointed straight at him. Alonzo realizes too late that his power has run out. A real former gang member helped bring down the film's villain. Fact 13. The cast got caught in a real gang standoff. Filming in real gang territory carried very real risks. One day, dozens of Crips and Bloods faced off in a tense stare-down. The cast and crew were caught right in the middle of it. On screen, none of that danger slowed them down. Alonzo and Jake keep prowling the volatile streets. The tension of those neighborhoods bleeds into every frame. A real-life standoff nearly halted one of the year's best films. Fact 12. They hid the improvisations from Ethan Hawke. To capture genuine fear and surprise, the filmmakers kept Hawke guessing. Denzel would improvise without warning his co-star first. Hawke's shocked reactions on screen are often completely real. On screen, that unease is perfect for the character. Jake flinches and scrambles to keep up with Alonzo's mind games. Jake's growing dread feels absolutely genuine. A rookie kept off balance delivered a rookie's terror for real. Fact 11. A completely different duo was originally cast. It's strange to picture anyone else in these roles. Early on, Samuel L. Jackson was set to star instead. Matt Damon was lined up to play the young rookie. On screen, the eventual pairing feels like destiny. Alonzo and Jake spark off each other with electric tension. Their uneasy partnership drives the entire film. A totally different cast almost made a totally different movie. Fact 10. Denzel personally got the director replaced. A different filmmaker, Davis Guggenheim, was first attached to the project. When Denzel signed on, he reportedly wanted a change behind the camera. Antoine Fuqua came in and gave the film its gritty, authentic edge. On screen, that vision is everywhere. Alonzo and Jake moved through a Los Angeles that feels brutally real. Every street corner crackles with menace and life. A star's instinct handed the film to exactly the right director. Fact 9. A who's who of stars lost the rookie role. The part of Jake Hoyt was fiercely contested. Actors like Tobey Maguire and Paul Walker tested for it. Even the rapper Eminem was approached before choosing another film. On screen, Ethan Hawke made the role his own. Jake's wide-eyed decency anchors the whole story. Jake slowly hardens as the nightmare day wears on. Apart countless stars, Wanted became Ethan Hawke's breakthrough. Fact 8. The story was ripped from a real police scandal. Alonzo's corruption wasn't dreamed up from nowhere. The script drew on a real Los Angeles police scandal of the late 90s. Officers had been caught stealing drugs and framing suspects. On screen, that grim truth gives the film its bite. Alonzo bends every law to serve his own power. Alonzo blurs the line between cop and criminal completely. A real-world scandal made the film feel terrifyingly plausible. Fact 7. The writer grew up on these exact streets. The screenplay came from writer David Ayer. Ayer had grown up in South Central Los Angeles himself. He poured that first-hand knowledge of the streets into every scene. On screen, that authenticity is undeniable. Alonzo speaks the real language of the neighborhood. Jake learns its brutal rules the hard way. A writer's own hard childhood gave the film its raw honesty. Fact 6. The film is packed with hidden, famous faces. Look closely, and the background is full of future stars. The rappers Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre both appear in memorable roles. A young Terry Crews even turns up in one crowded scene. On screen, they blend seamlessly into the streets. Alonzo does business with dealers and hustlers at every stop. Jake meets a parade of dangerous, unforgettable faces. A gritty crime film quietly hid a roster of famous names. Fact 5. Ethan Hawke earned an Oscar nomination too. Denzel's win got all of the headlines, but his young co-star was honored right alongside him. Ethan Hawke was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. On screen, he more than holds his own. Jake stands up to Alonzo when it matters most. Jake's quiet courage balances the villain's overwhelming force. A rookie role earned Ethan Hawke his first Academy Award nomination. Fact 4. Denzel made Oscar history that night. His win was about far more than one great performance. On the very same night, Halle Berry won Best Actress. It was a historic evening for black actors at the Academy Awards. On screen, Denzel's work more than earned its place in history. Alonzo commands the film from his first scene to his last. Alonzo remains one of the most electrifying characters ever filmed. A single night marked a milestone the industry had waited decades for. Fact 3. The villain became one of cinema's greatest. Alonzo Harris didn't just win an Oscar, he became a permanent fixture on lists of the greatest movie villains. His charm, menace, and swagger set a new standard for screen bad guys. On screen, he's impossible to look away from. Alonzo bends everyone around him to his will. Alonzo makes corruption look almost seductive. A one-day villain became one of film's most iconic characters. Fact 2. A massive subplot was slashed from the film. The finished movie moves at a relentless pace. To keep it tight, the filmmakers cut huge chunks of the script. One deleted sniper sequence reportedly ran 15 pages long. On screen, only the leanest, sharpest version remains. Alonzo and Jake race through a single, brutal day with no wasted time. Every scene tightens the noose around the rookie. A ruthless edit turned a sprawling script into a razor-sharp thriller. Fact 1. The film's original ending was completely different. Here's the twist that almost nobody knows. In the earliest version of the story, Alonzo actually survived. The rookie simply dumped the stolen money and walked away, and the villain lived. But Denzel himself insisted his character deserved a brutal, violent end. On screen, that instinct gave the film its unforgettable finale. Alonzo makes his last stand as the whole neighborhood turns against him. Alonzo meets a savage, fitting fate in the street. The ending everyone remembers exists only because its own star demanded it, an ending you were never originally meant to see. From real gangs on real streets to a line invented on the spot and an ending its star fought to change, Training Day was as raw as the world it captured. A one-day ride-along became a modern classic. Subscribe for more secrets hiding inside the films you thought you knew. Some heroes are the last people you would ever trust.